Holly and I met one afternoon at a local gym. She has every quality that I've looked for in a person. She's beautiful, loving, caring, strong-willed, opinionated, total package.
It's nice. Mark and I had dated about 3.5 years, and it was the last weekend of October, and it was a really nice day, and so we went to Oak Alley Plantation. We were sitting under the oak trees. It was just the two of us. And I remember him fiddling with his jacket and being confused when he was pulling out a Ziploc bag. And then I realized that there was a ring inside the Ziploc bag, and he just asked me to marry him, and I said yes. I felt like my life was on track. We were planning the wedding. We had everything pretty much mapped out for the following November, and 6 months before the wedding in May of 2018, I went in for just my annual doctor's appointment, and she found a lump in my left breast. I didn't have a family history of breast cancer. I didn't have a history of cancer of any kind. So I wasn't worried. In my mind, cancer didn't happen to healthy people like me. So after the doctor told me what my diagnosis was, I'm a lawyer. Immediately I went into interrogation mode. So we can fix this, right? She asked me if I was ready to hear the answer, and I said yes. And her response ultimately was that if you take 100 women with what you have, 50% lasts less than a year. The only thing I could think of in that moment was, that's unacceptable. When Mark and I walked out of the doctor's office that day, he looked at me and he looked me directly in the eyes and he said, "That is not you, and that is not our story."
It's not why me, it's, what can we do now?
Originally, she said that the cancer had already spread to my lymph nodes, liver, and sternum. So the course of action from that point would be first chemotherapy. My first thought when I heard that was, I can't be bald for my wedding. Then I got a little taste of chemotherapy. I remember looking at Mark, and he looked at me and he just said, "Are you sure you want to wait till November?" And I said no. So in a little over a week, we threw together a wedding. I think we ended up having a lot of blessings come out of a very rushed 1-week wedding. At one point in the ceremony, we had about 20 people there. I looked around the crowd and every single person was crying. Funny enough, except my husband. He was so strong.
Well, you're on this path, and you get knocked off this path, and you find yourself on another path, and you don't know how you got there. So I guess over the last year, we're just trying to get back to our normal life, our normal path. I know Holly, and I know what she's capable of. I think it was my job to reinforce that, and I just had faith.
A career is what I wanted, and to me, not working wasn't an option, because to me that would be giving up, and that just wasn't an option then, and it's not an option now. So fortunately, I had a company that understood what I was going through. They had a chemo kickoff party for me, and we just celebrated the beginning of what we said was going to be a win. I remember being in our CEO's office just a couple days after my final diagnosis, and him telling me, "Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. This next year is going to be hell, but I know you. You're a fighter, and if I had to bet, I bet you'll be here next year." And I am. So I guess he was right. The day I got to ring the chemo bell was pure joy and elation. I knew I wasn't done yet, but I knew it was a win and it was a step in the right direction. Just a few weeks ago, Mark and I are sitting in the doctor's office, and The big scan was going to be my bone scan, and she said that they saw the healed metastasis, and I asked her, was there anything else? And she paused for a minute. Pause felt like an eternity, and she looked at me and she said, nothing else. Whenever I was diagnosed, especially being considered terminal, cancer research was my hope, because I knew that every single day that I was alive, there was someone out there researching and trying to find a cure for what I had. Because of the research that the American Cancer Society is funding, it gives people like me hope that every single day that I'm alive, that's one more day that someone could be finding a cure. Hope is one of the most powerful things that keeps me going and keeps a lot of women going, because you just want to be alive.